Hey everyone, welcome back to another book preview video. This week we have a big one, quite literally as well when you see the size of it. So this is Stonehouse's Anatomy. So a quick look at the cover there, see if you can see the shiny character on the front with a different material on it. And a quick look at the back. We're going to get straight into this. With it being so big, I don't know how much of it we will actually be able to preview on camera. So first off, let me see if I can find the contents. It does go on to a couple of pages, so you might want to pause it on this page and have a proper look through it. So I am hoping that my camera stays focused for this. So second page. But yeah, I recorded this last week and I was excited to get this up on YouTube. And I looked back through it and I realised that my camera lost focus. I think when my page goes past the camera like that, it seems to lose focus quite easily and you just couldn't see anything I'd done, and I'd made it quite a long video as well. So I was really annoyed about that. But here we go, this is take 2. So I've actually since then had a quick look through it. The first time I recorded was my unboxing, let's call it. I still haven't read through it properly by any means. As you can probably tell from the sheer size of it, it'll probably last me a lifetime. But I have sort of glanced through some pages just to see the structure of the book, just so that I can talk about a few things on camera. So one thing that I have noticed, although I haven't gone through every page, I'm pretty sure that there are no photos in this book. I think every reference image used in this book is painted by the author, or by the artist, I should say. Now, sometimes that might be a bit of a problem. However, this guy is so good, maybe a bit of a master artist, I guess you'd probably call them, that I think it doesn't matter. In any other books, I'd be a little bit worried, learning purely from someone's art, but maybe that's just a personal preference thing. But either way, they are good enough that you can learn from, more than good enough. You could probably argue that it's better to learn from something like this because he can draw it in a way that emphasizes or shows whatever it is he's trying to teach you within that section. And a quick bit about where I got it from. You buy these from the Super Annie website, or Super Annie. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but I think it's an American website, whereas if you're like me, I'm in the UK, and I think for anyone in the EU, you actually have to get it from a website called Liberdistri. I will put links in the description box because, again, I'm probably not pronouncing it right anyway. So more into the actual content of the book. As mentioned, this is just me sort of thinking out loud. I haven't gone through it all, so it's not like a review or anything. Feel free to point out, anything I say that's wrong in the comments below. But it seems to be broken down into quite almost friendly or easy to understand chunks. But it does mean that this book is absolutely enormous. So I don't think you're going to end up just reading this front to back within a short space of time, or at least not if you plan to get the most out of this book. This will probably be with you for a lifetime. At the beginning, it actually breaks down different joints. I'm not going to try and name any or explain them, but it sort of goes into like the movement, I guess the function, things that might be quite important to learn if you are studying anatomy. And from there, it's broken down into sections, just like you could imagine looking at, I can't remember the order, but looking at the chest, back muscles, arms, the head, well, all body parts basically. There is actually quite a lot on the skull. And as you can see from these pages, it's not just looking at, muscle anatomy. It goes into, well, the bone structure, foundation, all the way to, I guess, skin level. Would that be the right way of putting it? So it seems like it's going to be a really good book. I am having to skip out a few pages where it shows a little bit of nudity. Nothing bad at all in it, but obviously this is YouTube. And for each section that's mentioned, like the chest, or in this case, the abdominal muscles, it goes through a bit of a description, a bit of information, some nice paintings. Then it seems to go to a bit that's called Let's Attach the Muscles, which, as you can see, you're starting with your skeleton frame. And he seems to take you almost step by step into how the muscles build up around the skeletal structure. And from what I could tell, they had that for each individual section. So another one there as an example. It is a very expensive book because it's massive. I think at the time it was about, I can't remember if it was £80 or €80 plus shipping. Maybe that will drop eventually. So if you are dedicated to learning anatomy, there's definitely information in here for you. And I think everything about it is going to be really good. The only downside for me, or potential downside, not including the quite large price tag as mentioned, is purely the fact that this goes into so much detail breaking down muscles that whilst it is absolutely great, I can imagine a lot of artists being like, well, it's a bit too detailed, I don't need to learn all that. And you definitely don't need to as an artist, not to the degree that it's written in here. You could draw extremely well, learn anatomy very well, probably without all this. I mean, it can only help, don't get me wrong, but you would obviously have to decide personally if this is just an off-putting amount of content, maybe too much for you, too much detail that's potentially unnecessary. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. For me, I love the thought of it. I think it's going to be great. How likely I am to actually get through it all, that might be another matter. But I think it's going to be a really good read. And last thing I wanted to mention was I actually bought this along with another book. They were both like the big main sellers. The other one was much cheaper, and that was on perspective. It's worth mentioning because I know when I looked online, a lot of people seem to be buying those same two books at the same time together. So I've already got a video on that, and I will put a link to that in the description box below. So aside from that, guys, I hope you found this video useful. I think we've looked through probably more than enough of it there to give you an idea of what's inside. If you did like this video, hit that thumbs up button. Leave me a comment below and let me know what you think to this book, especially if you already have it. And make sure that you subscribe and turn notifications on for future content. Thanks for watching, everyone.